if you want to just converse with each other and maybe think of a question you might have, I'm going to try to get in that creek and try to catch a couple things. Oh, here's one. Here's one.
Oh, that's one.
Oh, there he goes.
I'll get it. Wherever you put it.
Oh, we got one anyway. We got one anyway. This is, believe me, there are millions of these things in every waterway up here. Without boring you with details, this is a little two-line salamander.
Whoa.
It's got parallel lines from the back of its head all the way down to near the tail. And to give you a little background, it's probably been a few years since anybody want to hold it. They're harmless, totally. All right, here he comes. I'll give you a little background. The class Amphibia, that's the frogs and toads and the salamanders. The word amphibia means living two ways. And the reason I went to the creek to find these, they got to go to the water to breed. They've got to. Their reproductive system's not nearly as advanced as even the reptiles, or certainly not the mammals, so they lay their eggs in the water. And the frogs and toads are in this category too. And these things are so delicate. This one breathes through its skin. There's a group called the lungless, L-U-N-G, lungless salamanders, and then there's some of the more advanced specimens have lungs and breathe kind of like we do, but they're very delicate. I've seen them trying to cross in the summertime a paved road, and they'll die before they get to the other side. That's how delicate their life is. So if they get out of the shady areas, what I call the hidden world, they're not going to make it. Now, some of these are really colorful. You've got a red salamander here. I've seen them in here. A mud salamander. It's called mud. Don't sound pretty, but it's bright, bright red with black spots. And then you've got a family of salamanders called ambystoma. Much bigger. They'll go up on the hillsides to live, but they got to come to a water source to breed. They're much bigger. They get 5, 6, 7 inches. Marble salamander, tiger salamander, there's several species of that group. But all of them look generally, the body style is like this. Many of them have 4 toes on the front, 5 on the back. And the largest of these groups are what many of you would probably know as a mud puppy. They live in the Squatchy River, Cumberland River, Tennessee River, get about 15, 18 inches max. Got external gills, feathery gill. I've caught them on rod and reel before. Those are about the biggest members of this class Amphibia. And then around here you've got 2 species of toads. One of our myth questions is about the toad. You've got a Fowler's toad and an American toad. You say, well, that's getting kind of detailed. Well, the only way you can tell them apart, truthfully, is the Fowler's toad has 2 or more warts per black spot. The American toad only has 1 wart per black spot. The only way you can tell them apart. And you've got both of them right here in FM&R. So if you want to be a toad expert, there you go. There you go.
How about blue streaks on it?
I tried to catch one right here the other day, and Jim's asked the question, what about blue streaks on a salamander? That's actually a reptile. It's actually the juvenile of a 5-line skink, S-K-I-N-K. There's one on this rock right here beside Stone Bridge the other day. The adult's got 5 parallel lines on its back going down its tail. When the young are less than 12, 15 months old, their tail is just bright blue, brilliant blue, pale blue. A lot of people think they're poisonous. They're not. They're not. They're just a juvenile of the 5-line skink. So those little things are a reptile. Now,
do they need to stay in the water too?
No, they're a dry land species. Yeah. You wish they had to go to the water, right, Jim? They're insect eaters, primarily. They're not. I've seen them open their mouth, but they really don't have teeth. They've got what's called vomerine teeth, like a largemouth bass, kind of like sandpaper. They're not. They may open their mouth and bluff you, but they're pretty much harmless.
They like the sun.
Yeah, they love the sun. And what's more common even than those though here, and you see them on your rocks all the time, is a more drab colored, real scaly.
Very fast.
That's the fence swift, eastern fence swift. I think its genus name is Eumeces, E-U-M-E-C-E-S. The male has a bright blue throat patch. During the breeding season in late spring, early summer, they really inflate that, really noticeable. Female don't have that. They don't have any scales on it like the rest of it's just really scaly, like this. But those throat patches just are blue as that sky, or a little darker than the sky, but it's the only way you can really tell. They're pretty quick too, but they live on fences, rocks, wood piles. They're everywhere up here.
Kind of following the same vein about, like, you know, how the male birds are so much prettier than the female, you know, is that kind of the thing with that? Like you said, that was pretty with the pretty color.
That's one of our missed questions too. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, they're trying to attract attention. That's right. The replenishment of the species.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, the program was just the tail end of it though. It was about people up here in Tennessee. They're going out in the woods and they're looking for all the amphibians, and they're weighing them in and stuff. And I guess they do this every year because it's sort of like the canary in the coal mine type thing.
Yeah.
I feel as the life of these amphibians go is they're the first ones that turn their toes up when things go bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I didn't see the whole thing, and I haven't seen it
Yeah.
since. But,
Well, you know, there's an old saying in environmental science class, if the animals begin to disappear, can the humans be far behind? You know, I believe that. Here in these woods, if you go to a bait shop around Center Hill, Nickajack, Chickamauga, and you buy spring lizards, they call them, they're these salamanders. And nearly always you're buying the dusky salamander and the slimy salamander. That's their official name. They're both right here in these waterways. The dusky's really hard to identify. It's just about the color of these brown leaves, nondescript, no field marks. They're very, very common here. And then the slimy's a lot easier. It's jet black with white to yellow spots. They're all in here too. They got a flat head, as flat as a pancake. Wonder why? Any hypotheses?
fall under rocks.
Yeah, so they can get in the they live in the crevices, kind of like I'm trying to get them out of down there. But Dr. O. Ray Jordan, back in one of my upper level classes years ago, we was on a field trip one day, and I remember that field trip for two reasons. We were looking for a rare species called a green salamander. It's found in the upper Cumberland, but only in caves, crevices, dark areas back where moss forms on the rocks and water drips, that kind of habitat. It's on place. And we found some out there with flashlight and whatever. And they're just about like that little thing we just passed around. They're about this long, green with black spots, beautiful little animal, but rare, extremely rare. But I also remember that day there was just 6 of us on this field trip, and we was on in a general area of Monterey, Tennessee. They're just off Interstate 40. And I was about the second one back, and Dr. Jordan, he's still down there, by the way. He's one of the several people I know. If I can't find an answer, I'm gonna call Dr. O. Ray Jordan. He used to have a Gila monster in his office, a timber rattlesnake, a diamondback rattlesnake. You know what I mean? We'd feed them once every couple of weeks. That's kind of he was really into this kind of thing, still is to this day, but he's really involved in a lot of charity organizations now in the upper Cumberland, that kind of thing. But he was first, and he stopped dead in the trail. And right in front of us was a copperhead. I've never, in 9 years working here, I've never seen one on these trails. So I'm not trying to scare anybody. This one was so well camouflaged, it wasn't quite this late in the year. It wasn't moving. How he saw it, I don't know. Just he'd evidently been practiced. So he gave credit for capturing certain species, bringing them in towards your final grade, see. So I thought a lot of people in this little group of 6 saw this as a threat to their life. Unfortunately, I saw it as an opportunity. So I grabbed me a stick, and Dr. Jordan just stepped out of the way. So I stepped by him, got my stick, and I'm going to catch this thing, see. Never happened. The guy behind me just absolutely panicked.
Oh, no.
He comes across and knocks me over, and he beat this snake to a pulp.
Oh.
So that's why I remember that field trip, those 2 things. So maybe that won't happen today. But sometimes those kind of reptiles put put the fear of flight in people. But again, I've never, and I must confess to a small group like this, I get out and look for them, and I still can't find them. So some of you walkers have probably seen one here and there, but I don't see many of them. And I don't know who killed it, but only Crotalus, the timber rattlesnake, Crotalus horridus, I've seen all year was a dead one. Go across Lake George Dam, turn right at the stop sign. It was laying right there beside the road, little bitty one. Somebody had smashed him. Yeah, that's the only one I've seen all summer, was that one that was lying in the road. Good heavens. Where did you find that, dear?
Right here.
Well, let's see. Well,
Right here.
just by itself?
It had a couple leaves on it, he tore it off, so it'll give you a harder time.
Ricky, I'm going to tell you, that right there behind the rock, behind Tom there, Dennis brought those rhododendron in here years ago. So that was, even though there's some wild rhododendron on this mountain, that wasn't one of them. He brought that in, he brought some of this in. This is domesticated. That don't jump at me right away, so I'll have to beg off till further notice. That's that princess tree, the princess tree. Are you a princess?
Yes, no.
We'll walk a little further. Anything else before we, any other amphibia question?